everyone. Welcome to Credential Up Houston. My name is Margaret Ford Fisher. According to Globe Newswire, Responsive Education Solutions is one of the largest charter school operations in the nation. They operate more than 75 tuition-free public charter schools throughout Texas and Arkansas. Their mission is to provide hope for students through educational options that promote a free society and that cultivates moral and academic excellence under 6 different brands. One of the brands is Premier High Schools. I will talk with the director of one of their Premier High Schools here in Houston about their focus on a number of areas. Number 1, training for student pathways to success in technical education, academic readiness for higher education, and preparation for the workforce. Joining us are Dr. Patrice May, Premier High School Campus Director, and Ms. Kimberly Clayton, Regional Career and Technical Education Counselor. Thank you both so very much for joining us.
Our pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
You are so welcome. So Dr. May, give us an overview of your Premier High School program.
Yes, thank you once again. Our Premier High School is precisely what you described. Here in the Houston, Pasadena area, we focus on career and technical education, and we focus primarily on credit recovery, small class sizes, and an opportunity for learners to graduate early.
So when you make reference to small class sizes, what's the average teacher-student ratio?
Very nice. 1 to 15 is a very nice teacher to student ratio here at the Premier High Schools.
So how many Premier High Schools are there in the Houston area?
In the Houston area, we have 6. In the Texas and Arkansas region, there are 41.
Okay, so how does the Premier High School brand differ from the other 5 brands that you have?
Very nicely. Our premier or champion value is credit recovery. And in a time where things have changed with the pandemic, many students have fallen behind, and credit recovery is our signature program with the ability to prepare students for the workforce. And that's how we differ from most charter schools across this region.
So for Ms. Clayton, when we talk about credit recovery, as a counselor, how do you work with those students? How do you identify those students who need to have that recovery of credit?
Okay, well, actually my title is Director of Career Technology. So I'm not actually a career technology counselor, but I help coordinate the programs. And so the way we target or identify those students is these are students that may not be thriving in a traditional school environment. Perhaps this school is too large for them. Perhaps they're being lost kind of in the shuffle of everything. Perhaps they are not getting the ability to take courses in career technology and other areas that they might want to take because they are behind academically. And so they are being forced to repeat credits at their home high school. A lot of students become very discouraged by this. They're overaged from their peers. They feel that they cannot keep up. They may have diminished self-worth because they may have been targeted as being maybe slow or something that they're not. They just have trouble thriving in a big school environment. And so what Premier can offer them is, again, what Dr. May said, a smaller environment, an ability to recover credits at a faster rate than they would be able to recover these in the public school environment where it's going to take an entire semester or an entire year. Our model is a self-paced type of system for the core courses. And then the ability to do some hands-on career technology training where they can get a certification and some workplace skills and credentials so that when they graduate with that diploma, which is of course our first mission, that they will also be ready to go out into the workplace.
Okay, that sounds very, very interesting. So I presume the soft skills are part of that as well. Is that correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Correct.
Great. And with respect to the various locations, I presume that there is that consistency also in what is offered. Now, I was reading about responsive education and responsive teaching as well, which I thought was really very, very interesting. So both of you being directors, and I'm delighted to hear that because I was going to ask a number of questions as well when I thought that we would have a counselor here as well. So when you're talking about responsive education and responsive teaching, what was interesting to me was that the focus is on that continual attention and reflection on the observable behaviors and the effects of your teaching decisions on the students' learning. So with 15 students in a class, I would like to hear from both you, Dr. May, and Ms. Clayton, about how you do that. How do you prepare the teachers to do that? And how do you evaluate that? Let's begin with Dr. May, please.
Very nice question. I want to say this, it's ideal that we'll have the 15-to-1 teacher to student ratio. A lot of times we do have support or instructional staff in that classroom. So it will look very much like 30 students in a classroom, but there are 2 instructional leaders in that setting. And how we do that in terms of preparing teachers, we have a premier model way. We have a premier model way, which we equip teachers to teach students one-on-one based on where that student is and their learning styles. Students learn differently, and what we do, and we're very proud of this, is that we customize the students' learning based on their learning style. And so what we have here are knowledge units. Every student will receive a knowledge unit based on English, math, or the respective course for graduation, and they work independently. And in that, we train teachers on how to get those students to receive the information and comprehend it, and then be able to pass the test at the end of those knowledge units. So we're very proud of the way that we teach our teachers. We teach them to teach toward the students and their learning style.
Good. So, Ms. Clayton, how do you measure that, the effectiveness of that?
Well, there's several ways we measure the effectiveness. Students take unit exams, and they are required to get at least a passing grade on those to be able to pass to go to the next unit. Our teachers are very in tune with our students. When you have such a small class, they are able to know where each student is. Now, the challenge, and having taught in another environment that was very similar, is that all of your students are going to be at a different spot. Even if they are all sitting there and they are working on the same class, they are all going to progress at different rates. So it is that the ability of that teacher to know where that small class is as far as the curriculum, what might be challenging and what might be challenging to all students, where the teacher will need to stop, step back, and one-on-one teach these things that might be difficult for the students to understand, and to know which students may need prodding, who are stuck, who might be a little bit shyer as far as asking for assistance.
So fascinating. So you focus also on moral and academic excellence. And I'd like for us to pursue that discussion also in just a moment, but we're going to take a break. And when we return, we will discuss student success in technical education programs, academic readiness, and employability skills attainment, as well as the moral component of excellence. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Welcome to HTC.
Let me teach you.
Let me help you get college credits.
Let me train you for a new career.
Let me change your life.
Come learn with us.
HCC, for everyone, anytime, anyway.
Welcome back to Credential Up Houston and our discussion with Dr. Patrice May, Director of Premier High School in Houston, and Ms. Kimberly Clayton, Director of Career Technical Education. So thank you both once again for staying with us. And what we want to do is to continue our discussion about student success. And what you mentioned earlier was about the responsive education and the teaching and learning component of it. But in your mission, you focus also on the moral excellence. So tell us just a bit about that, Dr. May.
Yes, we're so proud to say that every month we choose a word that has character values such as integrity, honesty, and we focus on those words and we center around that in teaching students how to operate with integrity and what it looks like to have integrity in their education, because it translates into good work ethics, which goes right along with our career and technical education program, because the ultimate goal is that they receive an industry-based certificate. And so it's important that those skills are there: morals, arriving to work on time, what soft skills look like, greeting their employer, saying good morning. Those soft skills will take them a long way, and we truly pride ourselves on moral education as well. So you see that throughout our day, every day.
Good. You mentioned the certifications, which obviously that's really very important. So with the programs that you offer, Ms. May, or Dr. May, you touched on a very essential point that I think with CTE, or Career and Technical Education, the students would want to have that experience with the workforce and to get those certifications, which would be almost a pipeline for them to employment. So Ms. Clayton, tell us about some of the technical programs that you offer and those technical certifications that you have, please.
Absolutely. This is my favorite subject to talk about. At Dr. May's campus, which is brand new this year, we have some grant money to be able to provide programs in education and training and programs in business entrepreneurship. So we have partnered with Junior Achievement to come into our campus to work with our students on a program that they offer through Junior Achievement of Southeast Texas. And this is called Company Program, where a student actually learns how to run and establish a business. Then also with our, they are able then to take a certification, a national certification in entrepreneurship, where they can go out then to an employer and say, hey, I have this experience of learning how to run and operate a business, and also have passed a certification exam in entrepreneurship. So that is one of the programs that's being offered at Dr. May's Premier Campus Hobby. The other program that we are working at developing, and this is through HCC, is the Child Development Associate certification. And we're actually going to offer this in conjunction with HCC as part of their program. This will be a 2.5 semester, no, 3 semester, 5-course sequence of courses that the student will take that will then lead them to be able to take the Child Development Associate National Certification Exam, which qualifies them to go to work in early childhood centers. In other locations in Houston that Dr. May's students have access to be able to attend the career technology education programs at these locations as well. We have a location at Gallery Furniture that is offering trades and constructions. We are offering certifications in NCCER for our construction students. This is a nationally recognized certification that they can take then to an employer if they're trying to get a job in construction. We are working with Trio Electric to provide a pre-apprenticeship opportunity for students who are interested in becoming electricians. This is a 1 or 2 year program that leads to a pre-apprenticeship certification and also an OSHA 30 certification. And then they are offered a pipeline of employment through Trio Electric to become electricians. We also offer welding programs, and we offer automotive technology programs, again, as dual credit programs through HCC.
Well, that is exciting.
Yes.
So this really offers a lot of opportunities for the students. So I'm wondering whether or not you have a real high completion rate among the students, whether or not they then go to work immediately, or do they pursue a stackable certificate or maybe even an associate's degree? What are you finding there?
One of the things that we are very proud of our partnership with HCC is that the students will be able to go on and matriculate to receive a 4-year degree if they choose. So that option is available. Ms. Clayton and I worked very closely with this department at HCC to ensure that not only will they receive the certificate, because most times the certificate just ends there, we wanted to ensure that they can obtain an associate's degree, and if they chose, they can go on for a 4-year teaching degree and hold a bachelor's of education or science degree in education.
So, I'm wondering about the demographics of the students who are enrolled at the premier high schools as well. And what is the rating, the state rating of the student successes on outcomes? Dr. May?
Okay, so we have a very high rating. This is a new campus. I was in a meeting today, and our graduation rate is over 95%. In our welding department, we have 100% success rating in terms of securing employment once those certificates have been obtained. Correct, Ms. Clayton? So we're
That's
very
correct,
proud of those
and
programs.
our electrical students as well.
This is quite impressive. So I'm wondering about some of the other programs as well, like P-Tech program, whether or not you have computer science,
Okay.
some of the other programs like an engineering for the dual credit students. You mentioned you have a dual credit program. And I think you also mentioned that you have an early college program as well.
Yes.
So do you offer those as standalone programs at your facility, or are you embedded with other institutions?
We are embedded with other institutions. One of the other brands that belongs to the Responsive Education Solutions program is our iSchools, and these are our early college high schools. They are in conjunction with a community college where they offer 2-year associates programs along with diplomas. And Gallery Furniture, PHS Gallery, is right now working towards achieving a P-Tech certification, offering the programs I mentioned, in addition to Clinical Medical Associate program, which started this year. And we will be adding a program per year.
So now, how are you funded? Dr. May?
Go ahead, Dr. May.
Yes, we are state funded. And then we do have some partnerships that also join us in this funding, but we are primarily state funded.
And that's based upon the average daily attendance, I
The
presume.
ADA, that is correct.
Okay, very, very good. Well, we're going to take another break. And when we return, we will discuss next step pathways for Responsive Education Solutions graduates. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Today, I'm going to talk to you about physics. Come on in, girls. Let's go. This is the first rocket to get humans to Mars.
Really tall.
I'm a rocket structural engineer, designing and building parts of the rocket. You are the generation that will be stepping foot on Mars. Do I have a group of astronauts on my hands?
Yes.
You can become a rocket scientist or whatever else you want to be.
The faculty at HCC represents the best of the city. They're committed to getting our students to their goals. HCC, for everyone, anytime, anyway.
Welcome back to Credential Up Houston. We are continuing our discussion with Dr. Patrice May and Ms. Kimberly Clayton of Responsive Education Solutions. So as we talk about the exciting activities that you have underway, how is your educational offering? How are your educational offerings and the approach that you use to education different from the public schools, if at all? Dr. May?
Excellent question. We provide hope. We provide hope to students who may have lost their way. And that is our target and our market. And so we provide an opportunity for students to get back on track if they may have gotten off due to life circumstances. That is our champion student. That is the student that we appeal to. And we are a signature education platform that recover lives through hope. And we really are concerned about the human and making sure that they get their lives together and back on track to go to the workforce and things like that.
Okay. And so with the credit bearing courses in math, science, computer science, et cetera, tell us about that just a bit more. You touched on it in an earlier segment, Ms. Clayton. So tell us about those credit-bearing courses.
Okay, so because Responsive Education Solutions runs Texas accredited charter schools, we do follow the state of Texas guidelines as far as graduation requirements. So our students may opt to graduate with the 22 course foundation plan, or they may opt to graduate with the 26 credit standard plan, where they have an endorsement. And the way that we can do that is through our CTE courses. We're able to offer pathways and endorsements similar to what students might find in public schools, just in a much smaller environment.
And so I am assuming that your attrition rate is very low based upon the comments that were made earlier. So Dr. May, tell us, you made reference to the hope and the moral education and activating the students' prior experiences as a part of that responsive teaching. So why do you think that this approach has not been integrated into other educational strategies to maintain a high completion rate for students?
I do believe that it's education community-wide. Just to introduce this concept, it takes a paradigm shift in education. People will begin to grasp a concept where students come in and learn independently, self-paced. And the reason why it hasn't been accepted on a larger scale is simply because of education. So we are educating the community in platforms as such and partnering with local school districts to let them know how a smaller class size, allowing students to graduate early and recover credits is a way that accommodates students. It grows that population and it works very well.
So is your school calendar similar to the public school calendar?
It is a very good question. We do follow the ISD in our neighborhoods calendar. One of the things that we champion is that students have that flexible schedule. And although we do have a low attrition rate, what is attractive to students and families is that they can live their lives and do other things like work and take care of their families and children and go to school at the same time. So that's a big benefit for us in terms of making this platform applicable and easy or doable for those that attend.
So tell us just a bit about your staffing model, because obviously if you're operating a school, 75, I read online, responsive education solution schools, and you have a teacher-student ratio of 1 to 15, what is your staffing model to be able to afford providing all of the support that the students would need?
Ms. Clayton, you can share. Well, one of the things that we do, a lot of our teachers, and I'm very proud about this, are retired educators from traditional school settings. And so they come with a wealth of information, and we're able to capitalize on that and then have instructional aids in those classrooms to be able to meet those needs. So you have a certified teacher with a support staff in the classroom so that we're able to really meet the needs of the students.
Yeah,
Okay.
let me chime in a little bit on the staffing model. Basically, our students attend class 4 hours or 6 hours a day. So our school day for the students is shorter than what a traditional school schedule would be. And this is attractive to some of our students who may have jobs, they may have families, they may have extenuating circumstances where they just can't fit into a traditional schedule. And so what that means is Dr. May's campus is still very small, but as some of our larger campuses, we have flexibility as far as what time teachers can be employed as well. For example, at one of our campuses, we have a teacher that comes in at 7 and he leaves at 2. We actually have evening classes at that campus. And so another teacher comes in at 10 and leaves at 6:30. So we are flexible not only with our students, but we are also flexible with our staff because we realize that they have lives beyond school as well.
Sure, sure. So do you provide the online education for some of your students who are enrolled in the academic courses, or is everything face-to-face, building-based?
Question.
Yeah, it is. Most of our core courses are offered online, and there is a choice. They can either take an online component or they can work with them through workbooks. We find people learn in different ways. And so some people are very comfortable with an online platform and some are not. So we do offer it in 2 different ways. Now with our CTE courses, those are all face-to-face. And we have either industry partners or teachers who are certified in those different areas who are able to offer all of our CTEs.
Well, this is very, very beneficial, I'm sure, and will be of great interest to a number of viewers. So Dr. May, tell us just very briefly about your vision for the future of your school and share contact information, please.
Very nice. The vision here for Premier Houston Hobby is to allow a CTE program to meet the needs of the students here with a high graduation rate. We want to target about 150 students to enter our school, complete the school program, and graduate with a industry-based certificate in the area of child development, welding, and or business and entrepreneurship. We can be found on our website at www.premierhighschoolhobby.com, and our phone number here is 713-338-0020.
Okay, very, very good. And you mentioned the goal of 150 students. So quickly, with one number, where are you now in tracking toward that goal?
We are at about 25 students to date.
Very, very good. Well, Dr. Patrice May and Ms. Kimberly Clayton, I thank you so much, both of you, for joining us. Very, very helpful information. And I wish you continued success in all that you do to help provide that hope and great opportunities as well for so many young people. And to our viewers, thank you also for watching. If you know anyone who would like to credential up for a high school diploma or an associate's degree, we want to work with you as well. And we ask you to please direct all of those contacts to hccs.edu/online. So this has been Credential Up Houston. Stay in touch with us, and we'll see you again next time.